Hello everyone. So far we discussed about what do you mean by deadlock. So when the deadlock will occur in the system, how can we know that deadlock has occurred in the system? So with the help of the resource allocation graph, we come to know about the deadlock. And also, how can we detect the deadlock with the help of the resource allocation graph? And now we're going to discuss about what are all the methods to be handled for deadlock. Methods for handling deadlock. So first method is we can use a protocol to prevent the deadlock or to avoid the deadlocks. That is what the first method. So we are just not allowing the deadlock to occur in the system. So that is what the first method. We are just going to prevent the deadlock or we are going to avoid the deadlock. So we have a lot of algorithms which we can avoid it. Say for example, Banker's algorithm, which is used for avoiding the deadlock occurrence. How to prevent the deadlock? So we already discussed there are some conditions are there, and if those condition has been satisfied in the system, then we can ensure that the deadlock will occur in the system. So there are actually four necessary conditions how we are getting the deadlock. First one is mutual exclusion, second one is hold and wait, and third one is no preemption, and fourth one is circular wait. So if we are getting all these conditions to be satisfied, then obviously it will lead to deadlock. So what we have to do to prevent the deadlock, we are going to ensure that any of these conditions that should not be satisfied in the system. If you don't have any of these conditions, or if you don't satisfy any of these conditions, then we can say deadlock will never occur in the system. So we can prevent the deadlock in this way. This is one method. We can avoid the deadlock with the help of some algorithms like Banker's algorithm. So this is another method. Second method is we are just allowing the system to enter into the deadlock state. So we are just allowing to deadlock to occur in the system, and afterwards we are detecting the deadlock and we are recovering it. This is somewhat more expensive than the previous method. So here we are just allowing the deadlock to occur in the system. So we should detect whether deadlock has been occurred or not. So for that also we have some algorithm, so we can use those algorithm to check whether deadlock occurred or not. And after we come to know about the deadlock has been occurred in the system, then we should recover from the deadlock situation. So for that also we can use some algorithms. So some methodologies are there how we are recovering those algorithms, how we are recovering from the deadlock. So we will discuss all those things. The third method is ignoring the problem altogether and the pretended deadlocks or never occur in the system. So which means if you're not sure about the deadlock will not occur in the system. Suppose if you have some situation like deadlock may occur, deadlock may occur. So we cannot confirm that deadlock will never occur in the system. So if you face that kind of situation, so you should ignore that entire problem. So you should come out of the entire problem. You are not going to execute even the beginning part of that process. So if you want to execute any one of the process, and if because of that execution if it may leads to deadlock means, so we should not touch that process. That is what the third method, ignoring the entire problem altogether. And we can say deadlock will never occur in the system. So this is what the third method, and this particular method has been popularly used by the many operating system like Linux and also even Windows, right? So if you follow the first method, so what are all the difficulties we are actually facing in each and every method? First one, which is nothing but we are following some of the algorithm to prevent as well as to avoid the deadlock. But if you are checking to algorithms to avoid the deadlock, we need some additional information. So we can prevent somewhat easily, but if you want to avoid the deadlock, so we need some additional information like how many resources it should be allocated to each number of process. So we should need all those additional information to avoid the deadlock. So that is also much more difficult to require all those information about the process and their resources details, right? And coming to the next method, allowing system to enter into the deadlock state. So that is even it is more difficult. We will face more difficulties than the first method because deadlock has occurred in the system. And finally, we need to recover. We need to follow some of the methodologies to recover from the deadlock situation. But it is highly difficult, and also not only difficult, it is more expensive because we need many number of resources, or we have to follow many kinds of things. I mean methodologies, specific functionalities to recover from the deadlock. So it is much more expensive and it is very difficult too. So these are all the methods which we going to follow when we are dealing with the deadlock. So first we will discuss about deadlock prevention. Okay, so we'll see in the next video. Thank you.